Hey guys, Mr. Gran here, 1-1 day 2. This is going to be on the angle segment addition postulate, excuse me. All right, so what the segment addition postulate says is this, that if I have this segment, so I'm talking about from A to C, it's made up of two parts. It's AB and BC. And so if I add the length of AB and the length of BC together, what I should have is the total length from A to C, right? Another way you can kind of think of this, sort of in the quotes here, is a part plus the other part equals the whole. And so we're going to use this to try to reason our way to solve for some different lengths and of segments and get used to using diagrams and the information diagrams to solve problems. All right, so we'll go through a few examples here. Now this one, the first one is usually the easiest, but it's also a little bit tricky in this case. We'll see why. If you feel like, go ahead and pause the video and see if you can figure this out on your own. Otherwise, just watch me do it. All right, so it's given that GH is equal to 16. So the first thing I'm going to do is say, okay, I know that this is equal to 16. From G to H is a length of 16. And then it says solve for X, okay? Well, if GH is equal to 16, but it's also, according to the diagram, equal to 2x plus 2, I can set those two things equal to one another, and that's going to allow me to solve for X, right? What's tricky about this one is we're not using this information at all, right? So looking at this diagram, you might think that like somehow you've got to use this in this problem, but in this case, we really don't need it at all. And it turns out to be a fairly simple algebra problem. All right, so now just two-sided algebra, right? It's a plus 2, so how do we get rid of that? We subtract 2 from both sides, and we're left with 2x equals 14. Remember, it's 2 times x, so how do you get rid of a times 2? You divide by 2, and we get x equals 7. Now, if I want to, I could check my work. I could take that 7 and plug it back in, so 2 times 7 plus 2 to make sure that that does equal 16, and then I'm pretty good chance that I did that right if I check my work and I get the same answer. All right. A little bit tougher. We're going to need all the information from this one. Let's see. We've got given that Fm is equal to 40. So that means that from F all the way to M is equal to 40. And we want to solve for lowercase m, our variable. So I've got these two segments, right? Angle or segment addition postulate. This segment plus this segment equals the entire thing. That's exactly what I'm going to do. The first part is 4m plus 1. The second part is 2m plus 15. If I add those two together, that will equal the total, which I know is equal to 40. Now I've got an equation that I can solve, right? Looking at this, I want to combine my like terms. The variables go together. The 4m and the 2m can add together. That becomes 6m. And then the 1 and the 15 add together to make 16 equals 40. Now I can solve this. Now we've got a nice two-sided equation. We'll move the 16 over. 40 minus 16 is 24. We'll divide both sides by 6. And we get that m is equal to 4. And we could plug that back into this one and this one, add them together, and see that it is 40. All right, next one. Solving for x and then finding the length of RT. So this is a two-part question. Looking at this, I've got my segment, right? The overall segment is a length of 4x. One part is 2x plus 7, one part is 28. So when I set this up, I want to add the two parts together. So 2x plus 7, the first part, plus the second part, which is 28, and set that equal to the whole thing, which is 4x, right? Some like terms I can combine here, right? The 7 and the 28 can go together, and we get 2x plus 35 equals 4x. Now I can solve this. Let's combine all of our x's on one side. So we'll move the 2x over here, and we get 35 is equal to 2x. Well, now I can just divide both sides by 2. And I'm left with 17.5 is equal to x. So the first part of the question is done. We solved for x. Now we want to use that information to find the length of RT. I've got some options here. I think the simplest one is just to plug it into the 4x because that represents the whole length of RT. I could plug it into this x, do 2x plus 7, and then add 28, but I think it's going to be easier just to plug it into the 4x. So 4, we'll replace the x with 17.5, right, because we said that x was equal to 17.5. And if I multiply that, I should get that the total length is 70.